Let's start สวัสดีทุกท่านนะฮะ I speak in Thai so welcome again for this webinar and today we have not only me but my co-host Dr. Ice so please introduce yourself
สวัสดีค่ะ My name is Ice Bantisa Songpun. I'm a junior doctor currently at Thammasat University. So nice to meet everyone.
yes so please over to you Ice so please introduce our guest speaker
Okay, so today we are at a good time to be talking about SciSpace, which is, very, very popular and very trending right now. So we have the honor to have a talk about the SciSpace and what it's about from Ankit Gupta and Rohan Toldukar. Ankit Gupta is he's a product manager at SciSpace. He is a technical product manager at SciSpace and is keenly focused on improving the quality of various features through user feedback and iterative planning. He has a background in full stack development and having previously worked with companies such as InstaHyre. So welcome Ankit Gupta and Rohan Tondolkar. He's a research scientist at SciSpace, and he is leading in the research team at SciSpace which focuses on using cutting-edge AI to create value for researchers. So Rohan is a background in NLP research and has also published multiple papers. Prior to SciSpace, he honed his skills at MNCs such as JP Morgan Chase. So welcome both of you.
Welcome. So Ankit and Rohan, so over to you. And I think I need this session as a two-way communication. You can stop maybe in a 5 minutes or 10 minutes to talk to each other or even talk to us. Okay.
Awesome.
All right. Okay. Shall I start?
Yes, sure. I will make you as a co-host so you can share the screen.
Sure.
Yeah.
I think Ankit can start and you can make him the host.
Yes, I can share my screen now. All right. First of all, thank you so much for a great introduction. I'll quickly start with my slides and how we can structure it. That as he suggested that you guys can raise your hand and ask question anywhere. Just pause me there and we can take up your questions instead of asking all the questions in the end. So that way it will give you more clarity or whatever I'm showing. My screen is visible? Awesome. So this is our platform typeset.io. I'll go through this slideshow. So what is the main problem in academic space these days? Let's start with that to understand like where a solution lies. So starting with the exponential growth of scientific literature. In the year 22 only, there were more than 5 million research papers published. Now to go through that level of research paper is almost impossible. To understand which is important, which is you should leave is even more difficult. That's where we come in. Excessive use of technical language and jargon. Even research papers, which should be simple, but just because the language is too difficult to understand, it will take all your time away. A deeper understanding of papers is time consuming. One place for collecting valuable insights. So you go through all of these papers, collecting a lot of insights, and you can use one of our tools, which I'll show later, to collect insights at one place. Understanding for non-native English speakers. Now, people who don't speak English, it's even more difficult to go through these level of research papers, understand quickly, especially when you are doing 36 hours of time. You need something fast. Let's move to the solutions, like what solutions SciSpace provides. So these are just few of them that I have listed here. There are much more. We will take them one by one. Search through millions of papers that our corpus has. It is over 250 million research papers. You will be able to manage your personal library, extract information from any of the papers that you upload, or you choose from any of the papers that we have. You can take SciSpace anywhere you go on the web. We have a Chrome extension, which we will show you how to use that. generating academically accurate citations for all research sources. And finally, all of this, you can do it in 75 plus languages, including Thai. Let's start by Copilot. This is our flagship product called Copilot. I'll show you how to use that. So let's create a fresh account so you know exactly how we can start. So I am just signing up. So this is where you access your library. I already have one file. I'm going to upload more. So this is one of the PDFs that I have chosen for it. It's called WHO Criteria for Diabetes in Pregnancy. I'm uploading the PDF. Now you might have your own list of PDFs, or you might have PDFs on Zotero or some other tools. We have given the import option for that as well. You import it from here and you see this is the PDF. I'm going to click on that. So this was the PDF that I uploaded. Now on the left side, this is where you see your PDF, and on the right hand side, this is the Copilot. Now, how does Copilot help you? So instead of going through this entire PDF, you might have questions that you want to ask directly. It's like your own research assistants. So let's say I said literature survey of this paper. I click on that. Let's wait for the Copilot to answer that. And there you go. Literature survey of this paper, and it has explained you the entire thing in detail. Not only that, you can click on these citations to understand where is this information coming from. So I click on that, I hover over that, you can see there's an option called locate in PDF. You click on that, it will take you to the place where the answer has come from. So it is pretty transparent that way. It will give you the information and it will show you this is exactly where the information is in the PDF. You can click on any of the citations to understand that the information is indeed belong to this PDF. There's a quick way to ask follow-up questions as well. So let's take another question. Which criteria did WHO adopt for GDM? There you go. Now the best part, not only you can ask questions in English here, you can also, let's take it up, image. So let's say this is the graph and you want to understand it better. You can use this tool called Explain Math and Table. Click on that. You will be able to select anything in the PDF and just leave it. It will automatically go to the Copilot and explain you the figure as well. So while it also takes the language, it can also take images that exist in the PDF and explain you. So here you can see that it explain the equation explanation, components of the equation, patient age, management of blood sugar, abnormal result, importance of the equation, and everything. You can always ask questions in your own language. So for example, explain this in 2 lines. Or yeah, let's just say explain this in 2 lines. Yeah, so it will give you a smaller result, a quick summary. Let's try this in a different language now. So on the top, there is this option to change change language. From English, I'm going to change it to Thai. And let's try to ask a question again. Result of this paper.
Okay, let's see.
There you go. I think you can tell me if this makes sense for you.
Okay, that makes sense. Mhm.
Wow, that's very impressive.
Yeah, you can ask these follow-up questions from here. And if you are not able to come up with your own questions, you can always click on this and click on brainstorm questions. What this does is it will come up with its own questions related to this paper, and you can ask those questions. Yeah. So basically, Copilot helps you understand a paper in detail. You can go through several papers together as well. I'll show you later how you can do that. So yeah, this is basically Copilot. Now let's come down on the left side. This is your paper that you want to actually read. So this was a quick way to ask questions. Now let's say you are reading the paper, and what all things you can do here. Let's say you are reading methods, and there is this sentence that you don't understand and you want to understand it better. You just click select, and it will give these options. Explain text. So what it does is it will just take this sentence and explain you in simple words. You can also select a large portion of text and click summarize. This will explain you that entire thing in much shorter form. Yeah, so that's pretty much it with Copilot. We recently launched one more feature that might be helpful. It's called Modify. So what you can do is you can always click on that and choose your own style of answers. Let's say you prefer detailed answer or concise answer. You can always select that. The tone of the answer, if you want academic, simple, professional, based on your experience, you can check beginner, intermediate, expert. I'm assuming you guys gonna select expert. So this is for you. If you prefer bullet or a paragraph, both will work. So you can select from here and it will start giving you answers in your own style. So that's pretty much with Copilot. Now I'll move to library. If you have any questions here, feel free to ask right away. So I'll be able to answer you.
I think there are some questions from Mr. Vikrun. Let me. So, how does SciSpace Copilot feature differentiate itself from other research management tool? So, Mr. Virun, do you want to explain more about your question?
Yes, actually, I found there are a lot of options for the using AI to help out we doing the research. However, I using many tools. For example, I use GPTs in Chat GPTs. And can you explain how you differentiate yourself from other tools?
Sure. So,
Okay.
Ankit, you want to
Yeah,
take
please,
that?
Rohan, go ahead.
Okay. Yeah. So multiple levels. One, you will throughout the webinar, you will realize the set of tools, the number of tools that we offer. No one in the market offers that wide range of tools. So we cover the entire research pipeline, like Ankit explained in his initial slides. We cover from literature review to comparing papers, shortlisting papers, reading papers, even writing, and even publishing your material to a wider audience. So we cover a lot of the research pipeline. So no other tool in market does that. So that is one. Again, in each of these tools, as you will see, within each tool also, we only try to get to the top of the quality. If you look at within Copilot, the amount of features that SciSpace offers, currently no one in the market offers that many features. If you look, we have translations in regional languages, we have explanation, summary, we have citations, we have library. So within Copilot itself, you can see we have more features than anyone else. Coming to the point that you are using various GPTs out there in the GPT store. So SciSpace also has a GPT in the GPT store. So again, there we are competing. So we cover the entire, breadth of the research space. So that's how we would differentiate ourselves. And I think I hope this answers the question, Virun. And to the second question, yeah, so we use multiple. We don't restrict to GPT-4. We use, depending on the use case, it's GPT-4, 3.5 Claude, or some use cases where the reasoning capacity is low. We use smaller models, which we fine tune for the data set as well. So not restricted to any one model as such, but yeah, depending on the use case, whatever is best suited.
Thank you for your answer. Can I ask another question? Actually, normally, current large language model AI that we use today provide lots of hallucination. How can we be ensure that if we provide the literature inside this platform, it will not give our output in the hallucination, and how can we make sure the accuracy of the citations provided?
Right. So very valid question that most of our, researcher user base keep asking us. So one answer, a very generic answer is you can never 100% remove it. That's a known fact across research. We try to minimize it to a lot of extent. We try like 2, 3 approaches. One is obviously we pass very selective context to the language model, which we feel is most relevant. And in our prompt side, we make it very strict to only answer from those context and cite those context. So that way we try to, in a way, box the output in a controlled way. So that is what we do in all our answers, be it in our literature review tool or the Copilot tool. We ensure citations are present. So that brings, so then if user has any doubt also, he can quickly go and verify. And then, I mean, even if that few percent where hallucination can happen, that verification layer is available. Great. Okay.
All right.
I think Ankit can continue. Thank you.
Yeah, if there are no more follow-up questions, I'll move to a different tool. Awesome. So what we saw earlier was Copilot, and as Rohan explained, what happens behind the curtains. Now let's look at library. So how Copilot helps you is going in depth of one particular PDF, but let's say you have a set of 20 PDFs. I'm showing you an example of 2 PDFs. You can have any n number of PDFs in your library, and you want to quickly understand which PDF you want to read further, or you just want to create a literature matrix here. So for example, these are my 2 PDFs. You can add any columns here and it will explain you based on that column. So for example, this is TLDR. So it explained TLDR for this PDF and this PDF, and it shows you right here along with the citations. Now you can create as many columns as you want, summarize introduction, results, or you can choose from this list. For example, I'm going to add practical implications. It added one more column and it will answer you from each of the PDF. The goal of this tool to make your work much faster. Now you can upload 20 PDFs here and it will answer all of these questions from all the PDFs at the same time. Not only that, once you're satisfied with all these answers, you can go ahead and export it in your own CSV, Excel, or whatever extension that you prefer. Yeah, so that's pretty much in library as well. And of course, we give this in any language as well. So let's change it to Thai. And there you go. So you start by uploading all the PDFs, see which ones you want to go in depth, click on that, and start using Copilot on that. Let's go back to our slides and see what all we have covered. So Copilot, we saw library. Now let's talk about paraphraser. So let's say you are done with all your research and you have some, now you want to start writing something. It could be a research paper, it could be an essay, or it could be just a business proposal. We have a feature called paraphraser. Let's go there from the left side. You can put any text here and choose your tone in which you want to paraphrase it. So I'm going to choose creative, click paraphrase. Yeah, it will give you the output in that particular tone. You can always go and select a particular line and rephrase it in any form you want. So until you are satisfied with the final result, you can keep on selecting lines and rephrase them. The goal of this tool is so that you can use these AI outputs in your writings in any form. All right, I'll move to a different tool called Chrome plugin, and then we can take up questions in any of these. So as I explained that SciSpace has a lot of tools. The main power of SciSpace is Copilot, where you can ask a question to a particular paper and it answers you. But the best part, you can carry SciSpace anywhere you go on the web. So we have a Chrome extension. It's called SciSpace Chrome extension. So let's go there, add it to Chrome. Yeah, it automatically connects with the account that you are logged in on the website. Now, let's say you prefer reading articles on Medium. So let's go to Medium. Pick any new article, let's say this one. Now you are used to using SciSpace, so you want to use it everywhere. So as you can see that SciSpace Chrome extension has been added here. You can just click on that. If this paper is regarding research or anything existing research that you are doing, you can follow the same approach, asking questions from this pop-up, like say summarize. It will do the job as good as on the website. And yeah, you can carry it everywhere on the web. So that's pretty much it with majority of our tools. If you have any questions in any of the tools I have explained, please feel free to ask.
So I think some of the users might be wondering about plagiarism in using the paraphrase tool. So I just want to ask about more about that. If we use paraphrasing and paste it in our research, would it be high risk of plagiarism?
Right. So I'll answer and then I'll let Rohan answer that as well. So I think one way why we have paraphrase, sorry. So one way you can actually avoid that is by paraphrasing the content. So the goal of using AI or Copilot is so that you can easily understand the paper and do the job faster. It's like using calculator, right? You can still do it manually, but you would rather not do it. So what you can do is you can always use paraphraser, create your own tones, or maybe use academic from the tones that are listed here and paraphrase it. So the output here is mostly not going to be plagiarized.
Yeah, that's correct. So completely paraphrased output is not caught in plagiarism, and it's actually in a way you're writing it in your own words, right? Once you read it, and then if once you understand it and you write it, it's never plagiarism. So yeah, as long as it's not as it is copy pasted from a paper, that's not plagiarism. I think there's another question by Varun. Rewrite text to avoid being flat as AI generated. Yeah, so we have a AI detector tool, though I would say that it's an extremely difficult task for another AI to decide whether the text is written by AI or human. Because AI, now the text, I mean, initially it was even more easier. So Ankit is, I think, opening up that tool. So what happens is in this tool, if you paste a content or even a PDF, we will tell what lines come from AI and what comes from what looks human. All right. Yeah, let's copy paste one. So some lines look human, some lines look AI, and we also give an option here to humanize on the line if you hover.
So that's in the paraphraser.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, in the paraphraser we have that. Right. So
Yeah.
maybe Ankit, you can just in paraphraser run AI detector for.
Sure.
Yeah, there's a
So
AI
you can
detection.
run AI detection here only.
So here we give an option of humanize. When you click humanize, we give multiple options which look more human as per our model, right? But again, different systems, different AI detectors that some conference uploading tool might use have different models that decide differently. So this is where we advise heavy caution. If it's AI detection tool that you're trying to bypass, we provide a hook, but it can vary. And what happens is, let's say our tool, let's say, works well for GPT 3.5. Once OpenAI updates their model, it's a completely retrained model. The same approach, our same models might not work with that accuracy. So it's a very difficult problem to solve of AI detection. So yeah, that's about it.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for the answers.
All right.
Ankit, would you like to
So
pick up the notebook?
yes, so these were all the tools that helps you understand the paper, generate outputs. Now let's come to the writing use cases. So for example, the goal of collecting all this information that you find valuable at one place. So recently we have launched this tool called Notebooks. So let's say that you found this useful. You can click on that, click on Save to Notebook. It will put this content in a document on the left side, which later on you can export as well. Let's try it from Copilot. So let's go to Copilot and let's say you found this answer useful and you want to collect information from everywhere at one place. There's a small button here. It's called Save to Notebook. You click on that. The answer goes on the left side in the notebook. You can open it in full screen. And let's say if you want to write something, it also helps you write things. So for example, you want to write something regarding sugar. It will start suggesting you content from our corpus of research papers. You can click on tab and it will start completing that sentence. You can press slash and it will give you this option called AI Writer. You click on that and you can ask your own manual questions as well here. So for example, write an introduction on global warming. It generates the answer in your own language, which you have chosen. And once you're done after collecting all your notes at one place, probably write more things that you required, you can go ahead and export this as a doc. So we are currently in progress of adding a lot of more features to this exciting tool. We are gonna convert these links into actual citations. So you will be able to change the style of citations from APA, MLA to anything. So that will help you in actually creating a draft. So wherever you will find important information on the platform, you can save it in the notebook. Any questions on notebook?
Yes, I do have the questions. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm not sure can SciSpace read the PDF, I mean 10 PDF at the same time, because you show that when we talk to use the Copilot chat to the PDF I feel it's like a one by one PDF. So if I upload 10 PDF, is it possible to summarize everything from the 10 PDF?
Right. So right now, the way that you can do it is from library only. So you can't see and utilize Copilot and summarize all of them together in one single output. But what you can do is you can upload all of them together here and create a column like summarize introduction and see the output here together from all of these PDFs.
I see.
So if you have a specific question that you want to ask to all the PDFs, you can always create a custom column. So you
Right.
can add a column. Let's say you wanna summarize it in 2 lines. Yeah, so all your results from each of the PDFs will start appearing here.
See, I see.
So that is the current way to multitask.
I see. Because honestly, I use some other tools that can summarize the 10 PDF file or many PDF file at the same time.
Yeah,
Right.
so we also have a co-pilot on the library page that can help you answer questions across all PDFs. But we won't have like summarize all the PDFs, but at least if you have, let's say if you want to find something across all PDFs, you can use this co-pilot to find or get an answer which spans all the PDFs.
Okay.
Yeah, summarizing, we are coming up with something in coming months. But yeah, we are like keeping on improving. So yeah.
Understand.
All right. Any follow-up questions there? Okay, let's move fast.
There's Mr. Vidun asked why you changed to from the SciSpace to the type set IO something, right?
So that's we are planning to go back to our domain SciSpace. It's just a temporary thing because of some SEO issues that we faced previously. Yeah. So coming back to the slides, we covered library, then we covered paraphraser, Chrome plugin, that how you can take SciSpace anywhere. And moving on to literature review, I think Rohan can start and explain this tool.
Sure, yeah, let me share my screen.
We have one pending question in the chat. If somebody wants to pick it up.
Let me just check. Can you give some special recommendation about how to adopt this technology or AI helping students do their research projects effectively? Right. So honest answer, I think the tool that I'm about to share, literature review, is probably the most valuable tool for new students because for any student, the step one is to find out what is the research already in that domain. And that is the most critical. So step one, always find what is more valuable to you in your field, find latest research, and then once you finalize a list of papers that you think are most important, then use tools like Copilot on those selected papers. And then in those papers, try to deeply understand those papers, maybe with the help of Copilot like AI assistants, where any term, any paragraph, anything you don't understand, any questions you want to ask, you can keep asking. And then third step would be to create notes out of whatever valuable questions you have asked. So this three-step process is what any student at least should follow. Professors are more experts. They can build their own flows as they like. I mean, senior researchers and professors, but students find research, read research, take notes. That's the flow I would suggest. All right. Yeah. So thanks, Ankit, for the wonderful demo. So I think we, in a way, briefly introduced the literature review tool. So for the first step of any research, like I mentioned, is doing a literature search or literature survey, or a background or related works, right? So we have a tool for that. Like I mentioned, we try to cover every step in the entire research flow. So literature review is to discover papers for your research topic. Now, whatever research topic you have, you can search, or any research question that you have in mind, you can ask and answer. So let's say I was searching on, let's say, importance of maintaining blood sugar levels during pregnancy. right? So this is a question I type. Now we generate all the results. Now let's see, there's so much out there. Let's see what all we have. So top of the page, we have insights from top 5 papers. We can also change it to top 10 papers. Now here it is actually an answer to your question, right? So maintaining blood sugar levels is crucial for maternal and fetal health. Research emphasizes different impacts, how it can have. And again, like I mentioned, each sentence in a way has a citation. So this will tell you that it's coming from first paper, this is from second paper, this is from fourth paper, and so on, right? So that is in a way a brief summary of what you asked, right? If that is not enough, let's come down. So we give initially the 10 most relevant papers for this topic, right? So let's say this is coming from the Journal of Korean Diabetes. This is again from Korean Diabetes. This is from, Clinical and Experimental Obstetrics and Gynec. All papers about glucose monitoring in pregnancy, right? So, and not just 10, if there's a huge scroll that you can do, you can keep getting more papers, right? We don't stop. Because there are as many, mostly there is a lot of research for every topic. Again, what we have here is a set of related questions that you can ask next after this question, right? Now for each paper, what do we add here? So we again have columns, a bit similar to what you saw in library. So the first column here is an insight from this paper trying to answer this question, right? So what does this paper say about the question I asked? Aggressive blood glucose management reduces maternal and neonatal complications. That's correct. Control levels for fasting, it is expected less than 95. I think postprandial it's 140, and so on and so forth. Right. So these are insights from each paper for this query. You change the query, you'll get new set of papers and new set of insights. Again, columns, you have a TLDR from the paper, as many columns as you can add, right? You can add conclusion from the paper and so on. So again, similar to the library feature that Ankit explained, you can add custom columns. So let's say what are the results from each of these papers. I add it's generating it for all the papers that I have here, right? Let's wait because it's generating across all. So yeah, the results is generated here. Now, what do we have here? We have a set of filters because, so usually what happens in any search is you first search, you get a output, and then you want to filter the output as per your own requirement, right? So let's say my requirement is show me papers which are open access, right? Or show me papers with PDF, because not all publishers or journals make their PDFs and make their publications open access. So once I have PDF, that means I can quickly go and download the PDF for myself also, right? So that's a valuable filter. Secondly, now sometimes I don't know which one is a top journal, or I don't want to trust papers from low quality journals. A lot of researchers have that criteria, journals and conferences. They want only top journal outputs. So we have a filter for that. Show papers only from top journals and conferences. You add that. Now we will exclude all the low rated journals and conferences, right? So some of the papers you saw, they are gone. Now you have BMC pregnancy and childbirth, diabetes care, British Journal of Nutrition, and so on. So some papers are gone, some are here. There are other filters, like if you want only from one specific journal or conference, if you want only journals, conferences, and so on. And if you want keywords, let's say I want all my papers to include this keyword, something like that can also be added. Right, so these are some of the initial features that you can see on this literature view. Now, here if you see, you see this option for bookmark. So when you click on this, you click bookmark, what it does is it allows you to add this to your library. So let's say in library, I have a collection or folder called Thai Medical Webinar for today, right? It added it there. Now, if I go to my library, right, let me open my library. And if I go to that folder. So if I have to select the folder view first, similar to, yeah, I select the folder view, I go to my Thai medical webinar folder, I see this WHO criteria is added and I have all the columns also populated, right? Now again with citations, which is very valuable. So it tells you from where in the paper it came. So yeah, so that's how I mentioned, right? Always have a lot of queries, add papers to your library. Now that will give you the set of paper that you want to later read in detail or understand the output from columns, right? Okay. What next can we do? We can also add from here to notes, any column, right? You can select a new notebook or select any of your notebook, create a new notebook, add similar to library column. So we have an export option. This all output, right? This is now, it says, if I scroll it, 10 papers here, it's a lot of columns. I can keep adding columns. You have the option to export in any format. So all of this will come as an exported file. You can keep it for yourself, right? Another option I like to use is I like to make it a customized search result, right? Now, let's say I don't like one of the papers, I'll remove it from this list. Now this is my unique collection, right? So next time I refer to it, it will be my collection. I know, okay, these are the only 10 papers that were valuable to me. And it will go in the saved searches, right? So my search will get saved with this set of papers, these answers and everything. So literature review, normally it won't happen in only one query. You have to fire a lot of similar queries, and that is why we are suggesting other queries, because this one query can give me, let's say, these papers. Now I change the query a bit, or I ask surrounding queries, how does blood sugar affect baby's development? That will give me a different set of papers in the similar domain. And that's why literature review needs to be wide. So it gives me more exposure to different papers. Yeah, so this is the literature review tool that we covered. Yeah, next one, right? So we recently launched this. Okay, let's go through questions. I see 2 in chat. Yeah, okay. This is done. Thank you. So top papers, right? So we have a multi-search criteria. So we use semantic search and we use lexical search both. And then we have a model that is fine-tuned for research, which decides for the query, which are the most relevant papers. So currently we don't add any bias of citation or journal to it, right? The reason being, we want users to decide those filter criteria for themselves. For example, you can decide you want only recent papers. You'll get recent papers. We don't want to ourselves rank recent papers on top, right? You can sort by citations or anything. Because that bias, let's say if we add a bias, tomorrow old papers might never come in the results. Or if we add a bias for citation, new papers which don't have citations won't come up in results. So that's why we give purely based on relevance. I hope that answers the question. There was another question, I think. Width of the column, I think not yet. Something that we can take as feedback and consider this. Yeah, the widths are fixed. You can add or remove the columns. But I think the widths are auto-adjusted to ensure the reading is comfortable.
Although I will add that we have an export option where they can export into an Excel sheet and then expand the column accordingly also. So
Yeah, fair point. Notebook cloud. Right. So storage space, I think there is no limitation currently on what you can upload, even for free users. So free users also can upload as many PDFs as they can. Usually PDFs is not that goes into TBs and stuff, so we don't put any restrictions there. Security measures, one thing we ensure is your notebooks are private to you. They are not shared with anyone. For us, it's simply, it goes into the AI database, gets back the outputs. That's it. So That is the secret measure from our side, is your privacy of your own notebooks, that they won't be shared outside. Think there's anything. Buy the big monitor. Interesting. Yeah. Cool. So we recently launched a tool called Citation Booster. Now, mostly people who are authors, so you can go to the Citation Booster. What it does is, for your papers as authors, you can create video abstracts of that. You can create slides and presentations for your paper and host it on our platform, right? So the aim is, once you have digital assets, you'll get a lot more views. Your papers will reach a bigger audience. You can even share it on Twitter or any other social media platforms. And there again, you will get more visibility, right? Let me show you an example. So I have a profile here, right? So I have 3 papers here. And if I go to, let's say, this paper, now if you see, I have 2 research assets. So one is slides. Again, the slides are AI generated. They can be edited by me to an extent, but they are AI generated and they're pretty good, right? It starts a table of contents. Then for each entry, it's giving me the slide content. It's giving me the speaker notes. Pretty amazing, right? So I also know what to show users and what to speak. And it's including graphs and everything, whatever it's liking, for the flow of the slide. So this slides again get posted on my PDF. Second part is the video. Now this is pretty amazing. I get a video abstract of my paper, right? So this is me talking about my paper in my voice, and everything is AI generated, right? I don't have to take any effort. I just have to upload my one user avatar and it will generate for all the papers. So this is amongst the coolest thing that you would see in research right now. You should definitely try it out. You can upload your PDFs and quickly try out. The main aim here is, let's say you have this on your papers, you'll get views, people will recognize you. Like you can see here, there is a presentation and video on my paper page. And I can obviously download it and I can share it on different platforms as well. So that's pretty interesting. Yeah. Next part. So this, I think we did a small mention of this on the ChatGPT app, GPT store, their app store of sorts. We have a SciSpace GPT, right? What you can do there is you can ask the same research questions that you can ask on SciSpace. You get answers again with some columns and some citations as well. So in a way, nowadays, a lot of people are using the ChatGPT and the GPT stores there. So we have our tool there also, so that they get research access with citations, because the default ChatGPT doesn't answer with citations. You can also upload paper, ask questions, a bit of Copilot experience is given there. You can ask for related papers and whatnot. Yeah. In our future plans, so we actually look for, what next brilliant thing that we can do for researchers. If you look at the slides and videos, they were like pretty good idea, and we are seeing a lot of people using it now. For Copilot, we have plans to start answering from figures and tables. Right, so now AI models have improved capabilities, so we want to start including that in our Copilot. We are working on automating more research tasks, and our aim is that researchers should not spend a lot of time in doing the usual chores, or collecting data or just analyzing data. Their time should be spent in more tasks where their knowledge can be used, their thinking skills can be used. So basic tasks like, okay, get this data from 10 PDFs. That kind of thing is what our columns currently do. So we want to automate a lot of the tasks so that researchers the pain points should be solved. Like Ankit mentioned, we are working on a wonderful writing tool. The notebook is halfway there. We are working on more features. empowering authors for increasing the reach. A small example was the video abstract and slides that I mentioned there. So yeah, lots more coming. We have improvements across all features, and this is just the beginning. Though already we have a lot of features, but it is, I would say, still the start of it. Yeah, that's it from my side. Let's see if there are more questions. I think nothing new on the chat currently.
Actually, I have the
yeah.
questions, okay, about the column of the limitation, okay. Does the SciSpace, I mean the chatbot, create the new limitation or just collect the information from the PDF and answer? Because when we do the criticize the paper, most of the limitation is not from the paper, right? But we can like criticize the paper, blah blah blah. So my question is, from the answer from the SciSpace is from the information or they create a new thing.
So we try to answer from the paper.
Okay.
That's the aim because I mean, I think in the columns there is a custom instruction box now. There you can maybe add, that's basically for your freedom to add any prompt there. You can say, use your own knowledge to criticize the paper heavily. Something like that, then the GPT might ignore the paper part a bit and give its own view. But from our side, we try to answer from the paper, because if we try to answer completely outside, then hallucination and all the issues.
Would you like to quickly show the custom instruction?
Yeah. Let's quickly, I think my library was open somewhere. Yeah. So where is the add column? Yeah. So if you start writing, let's say limitations, the paper, use your, and then you can add an instruction, use your own knowledge to criticize heavily. Yeah. And be very arrogant, let's say. Something on that. But yeah, something like that. So you can try various prompts here, and you can see what works best for your use case. So this goes as a additional instruction to GPT from that the author, that the user might want, rather than just the title of the paper, the title of the column. Yeah.
Because for example, I can show you that. Okay, we will criticize. Okay, this paper is most of the, how to say, they do in Europe. Most of the patient is a European, is a Caucasian. We cannot apply to Thailand, blah, blah, blah. And this is not in the paper, right? But okay, we think by we own knowledge.
Yeah, so you can add like, consider the user is from Thailand, and answer from based on what suits to a Thai user, something like that. As a prompt you can add. But yeah, it's a bit of, so we have given the user the freedom, because we don't know what the user might want. So there's a bit of trial and error there. It's like prompting, which is more trial and error exercise.
So my second question is when I write the paper, okay, I use the Microsoft Word and EndNote to do my reference. Okay, so that means if I use the SciSpace, I don't need to use the Microsoft Word and EndNote anymore, right? Because SciSpace can do the reference for me.
Ankit can answer, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. So that's the goal, that whatever note-taking tool that researchers use, we can come there as well and replace that. So everything in one platform, because here you are finding the right information. You can copy it to the notebooks and continue to write on SciSpace only. So that makes it much more easier, and you just have to pay at one place to experience all the premium features as well. There is no separate pricing for different tools, so it helps everyone.
Because every time when I use the EndNote, when I add the new reference, the EndNote is how to say integrate with the word. Okay, and there's a automate the reference for me. So this is they do the same.
Correct. So we are absolutely gonna do the same thing. And once you copy these citations, we are not just gonna let you organize them. You can also discover more citations from SciSpace corpus,
Okay.
and everything will be in your preferred styling. So from APA, MLA to whatever other styles that you prefer, IEEE, you can choose that, and the entire paper will be converted into that style. And you can organize all your citations at one place.
Right. A quick demo. I think there's the citation generator tool that we have, and what Ankit mentioned, I think we have a new update coming to Notebook soon. That should solve a lot of your issues. So let's say we have a site tool called citation generator that basically for any article, let's say since we're on this topic, let's pick up an article on pregnancy and that we want to cite, right? So that article comes here, you get a citation and you can change the format, let's say APA to MLA, whatever format you want, you get the citation, right? So this is a citation generator tool, and not just this, you can, copy anything here, and then the AI figures out what is the name, what is the article name, what is the author's name, what is the volume from it. So this text need not be in this format. It can be in any format. We use AI to figure out each part of it. So this is also an additional tool that you can use. And again, library is getting a big, sorry, notebooks are getting a revamp, as Ankit mentioned.
I see.
I think there are a couple of more questions.
Okay, nice. I think there's some question.
So there's a question from Kunvirun again. Based on your tool's capabilities, could you please suggest a possible workflow for research? So he's maybe Kunvirun, do you want to explain more about your question?
So yeah, I think I got a fair idea of the question. So this is what I would suggest. What I personally try to do is start with literature review. Chat. Start with literature review. Bookmark the papers that you like. Let's say, what is it? Let's say outsourcing this traffic problems. Right, bookmark the papers that you like. Here's the bookmark option. Create a folder of maybe 20, 30 papers in your library. Wherever SciSpace doesn't have PDF, that can always happen because let's say it's a journal article that is where the PDF is not shared with us. You have to go there and download. But download and add it to your library. Now, once you go to your library, like me, you might have different folders for different topics, right? Let's say recent papers, papers on search, there's some testing stuff there as well. So you will have, let's say you have folder with 20, 30 papers, and then you have all the columns that you find relevant. Add all of those. Now that is where that will basically cover your summarization step. You can also add a column that tries to find flaws if possible. There might be some manual effort that you might have to do there. Now, once you get these columns, you might realize, okay, these two out of these 20 papers, maybe these 10 papers are not so valuable. Maybe their results aren't great. Maybe some of the method they have used is not what I am looking for or not relevant in today's world, something like that, right? Then you maybe get down to a list of 5 to 10 papers that is the most valuable papers for you. Then you read each paper. If not fully, at least get the basic summary of it. Of sorts, the Copilot questions give you a summary. We are coming up with more updates there on getting the summary in one click and stuff. Then I basically try to understand those 5 to 10 papers in detail, create notes out of it. So that will basically give you a thorough idea of the problem. That's the approach I would suggest. And always in literature review, maybe go for the latest papers, last 3 to last 5 years based on your domain. AI domain changes fast. So last 3 years also makes things outdated. So we have to look only last 1 year. But depending on the domain, you can decide.
So I think the very strong point for SciSpace is that you have I think high empathy for the researchers, because definitely the workload, the pain points is in the, summarizing, doing like looking at many papers. And it takes a lot of time, and especially in the medical field, we doctors have very short amount of time. So research definitely burns us out sometimes. And in talking about, like the part that takes a lot of time, I think is in the statistics with like, for example, when I collect like the data from the patients, there's, we have to do like t-test, chi-square, or, just organizing the raw data. So I was wondering if you have the tool for that, or if that's, included in the future plans.
I don't think so. We currently don't have a statistical tool of sorts that can do analysis on data, but that is something we have always considered. But yeah, maybe someday later, but right now, no, unfortunately.
But thank you for that. This is already very useful.
Right. I think there's one last question from Samsam. I think the answer right now is no, right, Ankit?
Yes, correct. So right now, notebook doesn't allow you to format your manuscripts. Uh, if I'm not wrong, reordering references means that you want to organize your references in a better way in your writing. That is something that will be possible soon, but not technical manuscript formatting yet. All right, I think that settles up all the questions.
Yes. Yes.
Devrup, you can take over for
Yeah.
the last.
So thank you, Olarik, Doctor, for arranging this. I hope it was insightful for everybody. As promised in the chat and to you earlier, we do have something as surprise for the folks who are already here. If Ankit or Rohan, one of you could share your screen and we go to those. Yeah, go to that slide. Yeah. So we do have some discounts exclusively for people who have joined this webinar, or with folks who are going to see this video when Dr. Uploads it on his channels. So you can get a 40% of our annual plan. Please take a screenshot, I would suggest. This is the exact. Yes, this is going to be the exact discount coupon. So you can get 40% of the annual plan and 20% of the monthly plan. And I'm not entirely sure about when these expire. So if you are planning to buy, do that sooner rather than later. So yeah, that's pretty much all from my side. If you guys are looking for Teams plans where you want to buy bulk subscriptions, that's also something we do facilitate. You can get in touch with me directly, separately. I'm dropping my email here. Or there is also an option to get in touch directly with our team on the website. Whichever option you prefer, please feel free to. But we do offer pretty extensive Teams plans for larger subscriptions at one go, right? So if you want to buy for your entire staff or something, you can do that as well.
Because I think the dean of the
Yeah.
pharmacies faculty is already leave this meeting, but he came to our meeting at the middle of our meeting. I will send this message to him. Okay.
Yeah.
And by the way, I already pay for it for, but by the way, for the next year. Okay.
Maybe next year.
Next year. Okay, please.
So thank you so much, everyone. Rohan, Ankit, Devrup, for such an insightful session. Very grateful, and we are so honored to have you. definitely, you know, SciSpace is on trend and it's very popular. Search, I search SciSpace on YouTube, and you know, so many people are reviewing it and they love it. So it's such a big honor to have you, you know, here today with us.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you. Hope to see you soon.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you.
โอเค
Bye, guys.
สวัสดีครับ สวัส
ส
ดี
วัส
ครับ
ดีค่ะ
สวัสดีครับ บ๊ายบาย